Hey friends! Today we're going to do a quick repot of this ficus. I love this thing. Look at this thing. And it's pushing out a new leaf. Look how pretty its sunstress is. Just on my shelf with the grow light. It's giving me a new leaf. This is, let me take off my beneficial packets here from my happy bugs to keep away all the bad stuff. I have it in this cool little coffee pot because I needed a repurpose for this. And I have it training on my bonsai to kind of, well, you can see it, to kind of go a little wonky. I love the way this is working out. I need to kind of bend it a little more. It's time. I don't want to break it. All right, so I'm going to repot this because I watered it and realized it is cooked down here. So it's time. The little things in this, or the little pieces on here, is just substrate from the lacewing larvae that I released on top. And it's kind of fallen all over the place. So I'm going to get all this off. That's the downside for me on using beneficials in a substrate, is the substrate starts to accumulate on the top of the soil because you have to put it on there, and then you end up like overflowing the pots, and I have substrate like literally everywhere. I'm gonna try to get this out of here without making a gigantic mess. By the way, I am Talon. I am the owner of Thrive Theory Plant Shop, and welcome back if you are not new here, and if you're new here, thanks for joining me today. This is probably not going to be too long. I just wanted to do a repot, so I thought, why not bring you guys along? Look how much roots are growing in here. This is crazy. Whoop, but it's going to come out super easy. I am glad. It is super root bound. I am going to put it back in a chunky mix, which it does appear it is already in my chunky mix. So I'm not going to disturb it too much, actually. I didn't realize that's what it was already in. So I'm going to pot it up into this pot, which is going to be the next biggest pot. I'm going to put some of this perlite and leca that I dumped out back into here. Let me just sit this down. And I'm going to grab my mix. Let me move this mic because I feel like I'm making a racket. All right, that's good. So here is my mix that I use. It's a soil, well, let me see if I can get you guys a little closer. It's a soilless soil, super chunky, super good. It's got like a cocoa coir, perlite, leca, horticulture charcoal. God, all kinds of good stuff in here. I can't even think about everything. Tree fern fiber, all kinds of good stuff in there. I honestly grow most of my stuff in semi-hydro, so there's very few things that I still have in this mixture, but this is already really rooted in there, so I'm not going to disturb it too much. I'm just going to backfill around it. This is like a super easy repot, actually. I have a bunch of little Hoya that I've recently gotten in that I want to take out of the substrate that it's in and put it into a pon. I tend to go for pon for my Hoya because of the baby fine roots that a Hoya has. This isn't about the Hoya though. We'll see that in the next video. This is about my ficus. Y'all be sleeping on ficus. Like, I don't understand what the deal is, why more people don't have these. I have a couple of these in my shop, and actually this one was one that was in my shop, and I just wanted to try to bonsai a ficus, and so I pulled one from the shop because I didn't have one, and now I have it, and I literally am in love with this thing. It's gorgeous. The leaves are so hardy and so pretty. Look at how pretty these leaves are. The variegation on it And this has got a lot of sun stress going on, and up on the top ones too. It's really hard to pick up on the camera, but it's actually a really stunning plant. All right, so I just kind of super easy transferred it over, and now I'm just going to use my rooting solution to water it in because I just messed with it. So I always like to use my rooting solution instead of a fertilizer when I transplant things into a new substrate. Get it nice and watered in, and bam, there we have it. So a little pro tip for me is make sure the plant is well hydrated before you do a transfer, because a lot of times when you are repotting something, you're pulling off some of those secondary or tertiary roots that are coming off of the main root, and that's what's really pulling that moisture into the plant to hydrate it. So if you just make sure it's good and hydrated when you repot it, it has time to reestablish those in time to like kind of start uptaking nutrients and moisture again. So that's just a little tip that I found. If I am repotting a plant when it's super dry, it tends to have a little bit more transplant shock. I typically will put some mycorrhizae fungi in there, sprinkle down some great white down in there, but I do have some in my rooting solution, so I'm not gonna sprinkle it down there. So you can water it down if you forget or something, or I try to inoculate my plants like probably once a month, maybe every 6 weeks, just to give the roots a good. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this super quick repot. I hope it was helpful to something. If you guys are ever interested in grabbing one of these beautiful ficus, let me know, because I have a bunch in the shop. Not a bunch, I have a couple left. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment.